District 2 Councilwoman Betaandres Sullivan. I'd like to share that this meeting is designed to be a video conference. If you are joining using audio only or by phone, there may be portions of the meeting with audio outages, and we just kindly ask that you hang tight during these brief moments and appreciate your patience. So before we dive in, I'm happy to welcome District 2 Councilwoman Betaandres Sullivan, who has a few words to share with us. Councilwoman.
Thank you so much, Bianca. I am City Councilwoman Betaandres Sullivan. I am humbled and honored to represent District 2. I am so thankful that we have our Arts and Culture Department that will be sharing in a virtual community engagement process for the ZerNona Black Multicultural Community Center. And so thank you so much for what you are doing at the Arts and Culture Department to bring more awareness to arts and culture. The ZerNona Black Multi-Generational Cultural Community Center is named after ZerNona Black. She lived from 1906 to 2005 and was a pillar of our community. She and her family played a role in the shaping of civil rights in San Antonio and across the country. We are fortunate to honor her legacy, especially as this is Women's History Month, with this community center providing services like what ZerNona herself would provide. Services offered at the center will include preschool and after-school programming, adult education, and a senior daycare. Now it is your chance to help shape this new public artwork in a way that will emphasize the true vibrancy of our district. I encourage you to give your input to the Department of Arts and Culture on the ZerNona Black Multicultural Generational Community Center Public Arts Project, so present and future residents can enjoy the amazing artwork of our community. Thank you again to the Arts and Culture Department, and most definitely to our District 2 community for having your voices continuously heard. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. And we may have a little lag here trying to get the presentation back up and going. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Bianca Alvarez, and I am the Public Art Project Manager for the ZerNona Black Multi-Generational Cultural Community Center. It's a mouthful. So thank you for joining us tonight. We're gonna get started here. Next slide. Thank you. And throughout tonight's presentation, you can send questions directly to the Department of Arts and Culture by clicking on the chat icon on the bottom corner of your screen. Make sure it says to everyone so that we can see your questions. And as a friendly reminder, this public meeting is being recorded and will be posted on our website following the event in both English with Spanish translations available. So we ask that everyone uses language that is appropriate for all audiences, and we will do our best to respond to your questions during the question and answer portion before the end of this meeting. If we're unable to address your questions during this time, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. Next slide. Now let's get to the project. Today we're looking at the public art process, talking about District 2's ZerNona Black Multi-Generational Cultural Community Center with the goal of getting feedback on the theme and location of the art. We'll talk about next steps and have a conversation about what public art should look like at this to-be newly constructed facility. Next slide. But first, what is public art? The Department of Arts and Culture defines public art as art in a public place that's been through a public engagement process to determine where the art will be placed, who the artist will be, and what will be the inspiration or themes for the art. every project is approved by our San Antonio Arts Commission, which we have District 2 Commissioner Tiffany Jenkins here tonight, and thank you for being here as well. Every project is managed by a public art project manager like myself and usually paid with public funds. Next slide. Every public art project goes through a rigorous process that includes stakeholder and community engagement and approvals for locations and designs from our Public Art Committee and San Antonio Arts Commission, all before moving to fabrication and installation. We celebrate the completion of each project with a dedication ceremony that is open to everyone. Right now, we're at the very beginning of the process with the first step of community engagement, where we need your help in determining what the art will look like, what the theme will be, and ultimately identifying the tone and style as well as location. This information collected from your feedback will help the artist design the art and is one of the most important parts of our process. Next slide. The City of San Antonio's Department of Arts and Culture has identified an opportunity for public art in District 2. This public art initiative will be located at a newly constructed facility, the ZerNona Black Multi-Generational Cultural Community Center, which, as Councilwoman Sullivan shared, is named after ZerNona Black, who lived from 1906 to 2005. She played an instrumental role in civil rights, organized religious schooling, and community projects in San Antonio. Services including preschool and after-school programming, adult education, and senior daycare will be provided here. The opportunity for public art includes a two-dimensional component. That means that we have space to create a wall-mounted artwork or mural. Support is coming from the 2017 bond, and the city's Public Works Department is managing the design and construction of the facility. Their construction schedule is set to begin this summer for completion in summer 2022. Next slide. For more information about the facility, please contact Jenny O'Quinn, architect for the Public Works Department. Their email and phone number is on the screen and will be made available when the presentation is posted to our website. Next slide. So here we are looking at a rendering of the facility. It is our goal to commission and install new two-dimensional public art. There are a few areas of opportunity that we can work with and ask that you share your preference in our question and answer portion towards the end of the program. Next slide. Two-dimensional art can take many forms, and these next few slides show examples of artworks created by San Antonio-based artists that work across various media to create wall-mounted or two-dimensional art. So here we're looking at a mural, which is a large wall painting, usually painted directly on the surface of a wall, but can also be painted off-site and installed like a wallpaper. We can also create a series of small paintings that don't necessarily take up the entire wall, but can be framed and hung. Next slide. Here on the left, fine art photography is displayed at the San Antonio International Airport. And to the right is an example of a collage where materials from different sources are layered on a flat surface and pieced together. Collages can also include painting and have texture. Next slide. I think we have a little lag time here, waiting on the next slide to pop up. So thank you for your patience. There we go. So lastly, for examples of two-dimensional art, we have installation and textiles. Installations, as seen here, can be three-dimensional, but are different from freestanding sculptures. They transform the surface of the wall and ultimately the environment of the room. Here, several small metal flowers were attached to the wall with an embroidery at the center appearing like a sun. And textiles, as seen on the right, are hand-woven artworks created on a loom. They can be just as durable and long-lasting as paintings, and this media lends itself to extraordinary, intricate patterns. Next slide. So going back to the potential locations that have been identified as suitable for art, these are those areas highlighted in yellow. So we have the fence that leads to an event courtyard, a glass wall that separates the courtyard and dining or event space. So this unites both the outdoors and indoor area. And third is a large indoor wall in the dining/event room that could be suitable for a mural or wall-mounted artwork. We can only place art in one of these spaces, and this is where we definitely need your input, is on where should the art go. Next slide. Here's our high-level project schedule. Community engagement has begun, and which will be completed by March 25th. And design will begin in the fall and fabrication in the spring of 2022. So aligned with the public works schedule, we anticipate installation and a celebratory dedication in the summer of 2022. Next slide. This is our community engagement schedule. So by visiting the links on the slide, you can take a survey and give your input. You can take our survey on SurveyMonkey or by visiting our website as well. The survey is available in Spanish, and the links will be provided in the chat. So please note that the window to provide feedback through the survey or in a direct email to myself closes on March 25th, and we will post a final report of community input on our website by April 1st. Attendees joining us tonight, you will receive a follow-up email with all of this information and more detailed instructions. Slide. So the survey we have posted on our website lists several potential themes for the art, which are A, services offered at the center and the people that use them; B, history of San Antonio's East Side; C, life and legacy of ZerNona Black; D, the role of the Black family in civil rights history; and E, community traditions of District 2. We would like to know, we have the questions here. 1, which themes are of most interest? 2, is there a specific time in the history of San Antonio's East Side that you're most interested in exploring? 3, what community traditions unique to District 2 do you enjoy most? 4, for potential locations, which area would you prefer to see public art? On the fence, which I see we have a question that came in, is the fence at the front of the building? Yes, the fence is facing the parking lot and along the entrance way in the front part of the building, so yes. The glass wall or the indoor wall. And 5, what do you consider the most important aspect of the project? Of course, if there is another facet of this project we should consider, please share with us. So next slide. So now we're ready for your feedback. Please send questions and comments by clicking on the chat icon on the bottom of your screen, and we will take a couple of minutes to allow time for you to submit your thoughts and questions. And I think we can go back to the previous slide just so we can take a look at all those questions again, and we can talk about them here. Okay, and we have a question here. Can you explain better the glass wall? If you put art on it, can you see both sides? Is it all glass? So the glass wall, yes, it is floor to ceiling glass, but there are some interesting ways that we can place art on the glass. There's, through fine art photography as well, and the possibility of using vinyl wraps or having it appear almost as a stained glass could be a way to integrate art into a glass surface. see. And I have a question. Are you only exploring two-dimensional art? What about 3D sculpture? That is a good question. And so we are only exploring two-dimensional art, but as we saw with some of the samples, for example, the installation or collage, that offers a three-dimensional element. I know it isn't necessarily the same as having a freestanding sculpture or a sculpture in the round, but with budget and everything, we want to present to you what we know is feasibly possible. And I have another question. Shouldn't people really get an image that tells us about the great inspiration and story of Mrs. ZerNona Black? So, I mean, absolutely, this is great feedback, and this is exactly why we're all here tonight. So that is one of the options in the survey as well, Life and Legacy of ZerNona Black. And so please, take the survey so we have all this data to collect. And I have a comment. I would like to see theme D combined with notable A of the East Side and persons who have been instrumental in East Side life and culture. Thank you for that comment. We collect all of this information, we combine it, and this helps in our reporting and sharing with the artists as well, what the community is looking for. So, and just as a refresher, theme D is the role of the Black family in civil rights history. So I would like to clarify too, that for the theme options, the results, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are restricted to selecting one theme alone. Sometimes it can be a combination of themes. So that's where this comment is very valuable. Thank you. Question, African American history of San Antonio is often untold. So can we use this opportunity to tell this story? Yes. The simple answer is yes. So thank you for providing that feedback. And we also, we would like to know more specifically too, if there's any particular aspect, group and efforts and events that we need to know about, please share that as well. So yeah, so I want to make sure that I drive people to take that survey. You can provide more information in the survey as well. We have some open-ended questions where you can provide more specific responses, and also to just share with everybody. The surveys are now in the link, or in the chat in the link. Okay. Question, can this installation be combined with music? So does that mean, like, is there a musical component to the art? That's an interesting avenue. Or my question would also be if, like, music is visually displayed in the art or referenced. That's a possibility as well. And another question, would you consider speaking with SACAM? Yes, and actually we are in conversation with SACAM about this project. They are one of our stakeholders, very valued stakeholders. see, I'll take a moment here to see if any other questions come up or comments. Does the survey include a bio or info about ZerNona Black? I'm not familiar with her or her contributions. That is a great question. So the survey itself, it gives an introductory statement, and but I'm happy to send out more information about ZerNona Black when I share this presentation with you. So through your registration, I have your email, and I am happy to send some more supporting information. And question, is it possible to involve students from Eastside schools in this project somehow? I think right now there's a lot of possibilities, and so I want to say yes, and that can be something that once the artist is selected, which at the moment we do not have an artist selected, that's something that we can talk with them about as far as their process and developing a design and how we can work together with Eastside schools. I think that's a great suggestion. And so I'm waiting to see if any other questions come up. We can take a couple more minutes. Okay. So if there are no other, I'm not seeing any other comments or questions come in. So I'll go ahead and say I want to thank everybody for this discussion. We can go to the next slide, please. And there we go. We're definitely excited about this project and appreciate your input. So as a reminder, I do want to share that the recorded video of this session will be available on our website on March 22nd. So if you want to watch it again, or even better, share it with your neighbors and friends who couldn't make it tonight, please tell them to visit our website. We definitely can't make this happen without your input. So feel free to reach me with any further comments or questions by March 25th. And my contact information is on the screen. My email is bianca.alvarez@sanantonio.gov, and my phone number is 210-207-6963. Thank you. Next slide, and y'all have a good night.